Front suspension bag. This has everything in the front end, not just the suspension, has bumpers, everything, the works. We are actually going to begin with the shock tower. So the shock tower is right here, and then we're going to need this along with the post. Now these, if you need to adjust the height, you can always cut them to make them shorter. If you need them longer, if you buy this kit, just the post, Traxxas does sell it, so you can find them at your hobby shops. It does come with some longer ones that you can cut, or little spacers you can just add and then just use a longer screw. So that's something to keep in mind. Now for these, we're going to use these short 8mm screws. So you're going to need your 2mm driver. That will simply go in through here. All right. There we go. Now I'm going to orient them forward, although sideways is better. That way your body clips don't fall off as easily. Let's see, there's the other one. All right. And once these are installed, then we can go ahead and install this to the back. So it'll be this section right over here. And if you set this, you will see that some of the holes will line up and some of them will not. So it's, if you go from the bottom, it's the second hole. That's the one that lines up. Here we go. I'm just going to try to hold it. And we're going to be using, it should be these 10mm. Yep, these are short ones. And that should be a 2.5mm driver. Now something else that you could do is you could get the Nitro Slash front tower. It's a little more rigid, it works, but this one works as well. I would not get the aluminum one. It just bends. You end up destroying it, and then even if you bend it back, it'll just keep bending, and usually it'll bend front back. So that's something to keep in mind. So I actually prefer plastic, these plastic ones. On the Slash, I prefer the plastic shock towers. Actually, now I'm getting a feeling it was actually the one just above it. Nope, no, it was not. It's this one right here. All right, so everything is good. All right, here we go. And that's it. So again, just go to the second one. It's going to be the second one. At this point, we can go ahead and grab the bulkhead, this one right here. So shock tower, if we line it up this way, it's going to go right back here, right in there. And for this, we need the 15. Shall we measure? These are too long. Neither of these is actually 15. This one's 14. So these are 14, and these are longer. It's probably these longer ones. There we go. And just drive these in. The front bulkhead from time to time does break. I would recommend an RPM one. Actually, now that I'm seeing this, this is way too long, so it has to be those shorter ones. So the shorter ones are probably the 15s, even though it's 14. I guess 14 is close enough. Yep, it's these little tiny guys. All right, it started sticking out too much. That's the reason. right. So again, the RPM bulkhead is really the bulkhead that you want. You have to take a really hard impact to crack them, but I've broken them before, and I've seen many people break them before as well. All right. After this come the links, and for the links you're going to use these large ones similar to the rear links. Now for these links, the links that we need are going to be the 79, which are going to be these shorter ones. So these are the 79. And there is a picture on the instructions manual that's to scale, so if you just line it up, everything will be good. Now my recommendation on the picture, it has this little line on the right side. Put them all on the left side. It really doesn't matter, honestly, as long as they're all facing the same direction. And actually, I mean, there it's on the left side, here it's on the right. As long as they're all facing the right direction, that way you know if you go forward, right, in relationship to the truck when you're spinning the turnbuckle, then you will know whether it compresses or extends. That's the reason why. All right, so the small end actually goes here, and the flare side goes to the rear. So small end, and then flare side to the rear. All right, that will go in there. And why not? Let's just drop it. All right, so I'll do this instead. This will go in here. Now, be very, very careful with aluminum parts. There are some parts that you should get aluminum, and I will be telling you which ones while I'm building this. And there's parts that you should not. One of the things that you should not get in aluminum are the suspension arms. Do not get those. Those bend really easy. Let's see. All right, goes forward. Here we go. And here we go, almost there. That's it. All right, we are good on the links. Now after the links come the arms. Now I've already gone ahead and put some of the E-clips here on these other ends. Just gonna explain how I did it. I just placed my thumb here, placed the E-clip there, lined up these two sides with a groove, and then just shifted my thumb up or down, grabbed my pliers, snapped them in place. That was all. Now we'll show you how to do the other end shortly. Now we have the arms. So if you look at the arms, these are interchangeable. There's no right or left. You can use either arm on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one here. Now for the pins, we have this. I'm going to install this from the rear forward because there's a little fiber brace that goes in front. I'll be honest, on some other builds, I don't even use that brace. I don't even use these pins. I just get the pins from the rear arms and stick them in here. And I do that. So just buy some of these screw pins and use those. All right, now I can put the other arm in. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go toward from the rear, sorry. Right in here. And the reason why, so that I can grab this little fiber brace and place it here. This will break with hard impacts. I wouldn't even bother replacing it, to be honest. It really doesn't do much. Not that you'd be able to tell, or most people would be able to tell, unless you're that one individual that can really tell a performance difference based on that little part. They do make aluminum ones, but like I said, I wouldn't bother. All right, nope, there we go. Perfect, there we go. So all I did was just bring this down right so the groove is right with this. and then I'm just placing the E-clip on top like this, well, correctly, there we go, and then I'm driving it in with my pliers, and that's it, right? And then you can push it through a little and then just move it. If it didn't clip completely, it'll clip. That is it. Now, all of these parts, you should get aluminum. If you take a hard enough hit, this ear will tear right off. These are too flexible, so what will end up happening is this pin goes right through here, will end up bending, and because this will flex up, so then this will not be held by the top very well. So it'll actually cut a gouge of plastic here. This will bend, and then it'll end up damaging that hole here. So you're going to end up damaging the entire thing. So just get the aluminum ones. The aluminum ones are the way to go if you're going to be using it a lot, taking jumps, things that take hard hits, hard impacts. But for this build, I'm just going to be using this. There we go. Yeah, this one's going to keep a slow brushed system. And not that the brush system is necessarily slow, it's just going to be geared low. That's the only reason why. All right. Now that we have this, the bearings in there, so I have these right in here, so I can go ahead and drive these through. So this will actually just go right through here. Right. And now I'm going to go ahead and place one of these little spacers right in there. Grab one of the pins, slide it on through, and then get one of these hexes and put the hex through. Now these hexes are actually quite massive. You can get some that are about half the size, but if you do, your offset's going to be off. You may need different wheels. But at the same time, it is something that you can do to make the front a little more narrow with the same wheels, just to add a little more steering to the vehicle. If you need more steering, that's something that you can do. Keep that in mind. Here we go. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing on this other side. Grab the pin. Pin is in there. And here we go. And we have both of them. All right. So now we're going to have these two. So if we set these, they are marked. This is the right, this is the left. Now here on the camera, they're on the opposite side, but that's because it's facing towards you. Now if I face them left and right in here, right, these will seat in here. So just make sure that the letter is facing out. Now I find it easier to install them on the arm because there's a less of a chance that you're going to make a mistake. Now with the pins, follow the same pattern that we followed with the other side. Now again, I can't remember right now, and I don't have one of the other slashes on hand, but one of the pins, one side you want the pins front to rear, the other side you want them rear to front. I'm setting them all the same, so I'm having all of the left ones go rear to front and the right ones go front to rear. The worst thing that can happen is I have them all backwards and then I have to switch them all, but at least I'm going to be consistent. Here, I accidentally installed the wrong one down here, so let me go ahead and remove this. So on these screw pins, there's two that are slightly shorter. You want those slightly shorter ones down here. Not a big deal, at least it's pre-threaded now. So here you go, those are short ones. That will go in there. And ta-da! There, so it'll stick out just a little, not too much. Right. And now I can go ahead and install this. Again, the letter faces forward. And let's see. Line it up. There. There we go. And that one's installed. All right, now that these are installed, so that's a little different than the steps in the manual, you can go ahead and grab these, and the ear should be toward the rear. So now you can install these. If you're not familiar with building these, you could potentially install them backwards. Although, yes, it may seem obvious, but it can still happen. Keep in mind that, you know, this is for people getting into it. They're new in the hobby, so maybe this is the very first build you do. There's a high chance this could be the very first build you ever do. All right, these will actually go from the bottom to the top, right in through here. All right. Sometimes you'll put a part and then it just doesn't feel right, and that's how you'll know you're doing it wrong. This was one of those cases. There it is. Now I can do the other one. So we'll go in here, we'll grab the other screw pin, and there it is. Do not over tighten these, there's no need. Just as soon as you get to the end, that's it. You can go ahead and stop right there. You don't want to damage any parts. But that is it. We have the links. So now the links, I'm going to be using, these should be the 18mm. Perfect. And this will go right in through here. Actually, I can go. So you want to go through the back, right in here. Notice that flare side. That flare side is going to go in the plastic, and just in general, that flare side will always go into the plastic. The screw will generally go into the side that's not so flared. So that's the really big flared side. Camera's not focusing, I apologize. So this will go in here, you screw it through the plastic, and then you're going to put a nut on the other side. So you will need a 5.5mm driver for the nut. Well, nut driver. For this one, you just need a 2mm driver. And that is it. Let's see. All right, so I'm just going to drive this all the way through. I'll drive the other one all the way through, and then I'll deal with the nuts. All right, here we go. Now, I'm not going to worry about it, but one of the things I'm going to make a note about is I actually installed these backwards, so this should go on the left. Right now, they're all on the right side. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Or maybe I will. I'm going to go ahead and fix those. Which is funny because that's the first thing I said in the video where I was building the rear, to make sure you install them on the correct side. So they all face the same direction. Usually left. Left is sort of the standard. So we have this one here, so I'll go ahead and remove this one. At least everything's pre-threaded, so it won't take that long to adjust and remove, but just keep that in mind. You want all of those little marks on the same side, just keep them on the left. All right, I can go ahead and install this one, so that'll be on the left-hand side. See, this is why you don't do builds at 4 a.m. It's not 4 a.m. And no, it's not 4 a.m. somewhere. It's 4 a.m. and something minutes, 32 minutes somewhere. All right, almost there. There we go. All right, so I can go ahead and remove this. Now I can grab this one. And we can go ahead and install this one. All right, almost there. At least the shock's already completed. That is one of the nice things about these Traxxas kits, that the shocks are assembled. You just need to put oil in there, and then, you know, the springs where the springs on the shocks. You don't have to build any of the internals. That's really where I'm going with it. Especially on this type of shock, because they use E-clips to hold the piston onto the shaft. Yeah, not really something I like. But that cuts cost. It's easier to do that. All right, let's see. All right, we'll grab this. All right, just gonna drive this all the way through. And I'm gonna need my 5.5mm nut driver. I'm just gonna get these started. This one's not cooperating. There we go. So if it doesn't want to thread, just go left and then right again. There we go. I'll go ahead and do this one. If I see the screw spin, I'm just going to stick my 2mm driver back here. But it's not. All right. So in order to remove these, if you have to, just grab your 2mm, stick it in here, and then just remove. All right. We have these components already installed. So we have the arms. So we've completed everything up to page 19. I'm going to do the steering bell crank in the next video. Please subscribe if you have not. I hope this has been useful or at least entertaining. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.
Oh, my hair! My arm! My rod!